Hey everybody, Max here, and today I'm going to be looking at this new Valaverse Action Force Recon Core Trooper. This is going to be a little bit different type of review. Yes, we're going to look at the figure and do what we normally do, but I'm going to talk about the QC issues that I had with this figure, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about Valaverse's quality control and their customer service as well. So this is going to be an interesting little review. I'll try not to talk too much. I know I have a tendency to ramble, but let's just kind of dive into the package. So this is what the package looks like before I ripped it off and destroyed it. So it's smaller than the standard, one of the standard named figures, but it does come with a file card on the back, and it comes with 2 action points. So I was actually kind of surprised at that, and I figured because it's not a named figure it might be 1, but it's 2, and that's cool. So I'm glad for that. So if you want to pause the video and read that, you can. That is something that you can do, and get the packaging out of the way. We will revisit the packaging in just a second. So before we get into this guy, I want to talk about this guy. So as you can tell from the video, we had a man down, or the thumbnail. As you can probably tell from the thumbnail, we got a man down. So if you watched my hand pack alpha video, I used this guy to demonstrate the different hands and everything, and I talked a little bit about the QC issue that I had. As you can see here, it's split at the seam of the shoulder on the left side, and it also has some malformed plastic on the arm. It's kind of discolored, and it's got some mold lines and everything. It still functions, it's on there, but it's kind of janky and mangled right here at the top, as well as the bottom of the wrist a little bit. Hopefully you can see that. And there's some discoloration in the head. So you can probably see, I'm gonna use a pointer stick. So we're like right there, and kind of around, and then of course back here on the arm, it just seems a little, just malformed, just kind of janky right here at the opening of the wrist. And obviously that's not what I paid for, and it was very loose. You can tell I had to break this part apart, or it was kind of, I guess, painted together. I had to break that loose. And if you watch the hand pack video, it was like the old Firefly from the Classified series from like 2023. It was very, very loose. And in addition to having some paint issues on the shoulders, which didn't bother me a whole lot, but it is what it is. And to a lesser degree, there's some malformation in the plastic of the right arm too. So I wasn't too pleased with that. So I took some photos, sent it to Valaverse, and explained the situation, and just wanted to see if I could get a replacement. I was looking at before I heard back from them, I was looking at their return policy and everything, and they reserve the right to send you replacement parts. So they don't guarantee that they will send you a complete figure, and they reserve the right to review your photos and determine what they're going to return to you. There's there's a whole big list of things that they are that they're looking for, and so they got back to me within a couple of days, I think, and told me they were going to be sending me a whole new figure. Now I was actually completely expecting them to just send me a torso and maybe replacement arms. And I would have been fine with that, just because there's so much modularity. These things are easy to take apart once you heat them up. I would have been fine with that, but they sent me a whole brand new figure. But what was weird is that it didn't come in the standard package. I mean, it didn't come with a back. It just came with the blister pack, it came with all the accessories and everything. It was a brand new figure, which is mostly this guy, and I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. It came with the stand kind of in its tray, taped across here so it wouldn't rattle around. But the figure was in its tray with all of the accessories and everything, and that was a little interesting. But I think what they did was, I'm not really complaining about that. I mean, I thought it was a little strange at first, but I think they just took the back off to examine the figure to make sure they were sending me a good one, but they didn't send the card along with it. So, I got out of, I'm not getting 2 extra action points out of this new figure, but I did get a whole new figure. So I thought that was kind of interesting. They went the extra step to, to confirm that the figure was okay. But they didn't send me everything that came with it. I mean, well, at least they didn't send me the back. So at any rate, so this was the issue that I had, and they did send me a new figure. Now, the issue that I have is the new figure. Now, this is the new figure, but only from the waist up. The original figure I got, the legs and the hips on this figure come from the first figure, because the second figure has issues with the hip joint. And let me zoom in and see if hopefully you can see this clearly. There's some malformation in the plastic of this particular ball joint right here. So you see how it has the triangle opening there, which seems to be standard hip joints for these Action Force figures, whereas Classified has kind of these studs, little nodules that poke out around the ball joint. But obviously there is some malformation where those triangles would be, this raised plastic there. And I was noticing, now it has drop down hips. I could move the right leg with no problem, but I was having a hard time with this leg, and I didn't want to force it, so I heated it up, popped the leg off, and this is what I found. So there's still some QC issues going on. And while I appreciate them probably checking out that figure and then putting it back in the package, they're still having some issues. And so this is the first time I've had any QC issues with a Valaverse figure. So I've heard stories that the very first wave, the first series, had some issues with the plastic, but they corrected it over time. And for the most part, all of these figures have been really great to me. Now, granted, I came into the line probably about this time last year, and I bought the Urban Commando, which that was Series 4, and maybe those had been on the market for a little bit longer, and maybe all the bugs had gotten worked out. Or it could be that those were already established molds, established parts, and the bugs have been worked out years ago. A lot of Series 5 is new parts. So, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt as they work through these issues, and the fact that they made me whole. They were very polite and very accommodating and everything. Of course, I wasn't giving them any grief for, chewing them out or anything, but I wanted to point these issues out to you guys just to let you know that there's a possibility. But if you do get one, they'll probably, if you have something like this. Now, I'm not going to complain about this. I'm not going to send this back. I think I can probably, sand this or whittle down these raised pieces of plastic there and get this to work just fine. But I just wanted to point it out. The actual legs themselves, totally fine. No issues with the legs at all. They might have been a little stiff when I got them out of the package, and I heated them up and they're fine. And these are the new legs that we've seen on Colonel Siege and Sidewinder. So if you've seen my videos on those, you know what I'm talking about. I actually wanted to take the legs from one of these guys and put it on Senshi. And I did, actually, and he looks pretty good. So once I do a little repair work on this guy, I'll probably throw these legs onto Senshi, and because Senshi's legs are a little wobbly in my opinion. So there's some issues with Series 5, and I haven't heard anybody report on it. So I'm sure there's probably some people out there that have said anything. I just said something, I just haven't seen the video. But anyway, so from the top down, this guy is pretty solid, and he comes with dark-skinned and a light-skinned covered face, ski mask covered face. Really good texture to this guy. I mean, the mold is really good. I like it. Both the skin tones and the eye color and everything, the paint came out really well on both. And I've kind of been playing around. You know, you can put this guy on Atlas, or, you know, if you have a Condor figure or something like that. I sometimes put him on my, was it the Undercover Condor? So that's pretty cool. And then you saw it from the thumbnail, I'm using the Screaming Condor because we got a man down and got some issues got to take care of. So no QC issues in the shoulder. There's some paint splotches here and there. It's solid, maybe a little loose in the butterfly joint, but nothing too crazy. Everything seems really solid. It's not nearly as loose in the waist and the torso as the first one, which I'm very grateful for. It does seem to have the same issues with Senshi that others have complained about, and you'll see in my Senshi video that some of the wrist pegs are maybe a little too loose or a little too small, and it spins around. And so I've tested this guy out with a bunch of the other hands that it comes with, and some are very tight, others are not. So just be aware of that. Like the trigger finger hand on the right, you know, does not flop around. The cupping hand spins around very easily. So there's that. And since these are the legs that came on the first figure, there was a little wobbly, kind of like what I experienced with Senshi. And I actually added some Mod Podge into the joints there. It's kind of starting to break loose, and I'll probably have to kind of clear out the excess and add another layer, I guess. But once you heat up the legs, they bend fairly well, and the feet, you know, no problems there. On the whole, I like the legs. I like the look of them and everything. I think that they turned out really well. I think they just need to get the tolerances in the hips a bit better. So, and you might be able to see this as well. You know, right here in the shoulder, the paint on both sides is a little splotchy and needs a little correction, a little overspray on the shoulder. But hey, the seams look good, and that's cool. So, and it has a standard articulation. This arm is a little on the loose side, and that might need a little Mod Podge too. So that's kind of problematic. You know, so yeah, like I said, I'm wondering if they're just working the bugs out of Series 5, and those of us who bought early figures are just kind of having to deal with that. But the sculpt and everything, I think this is a really nice looking figure. I don't really have any issues with its actual design. I think that's fine just the way it is as a kind of generic army builder. I wish it was in a better shape, but it comes with the new stand. It comes with this little SMG with the magazine that drops out. So kind of stuff that we've seen. It comes with the trigger finger and cupping hands for left and right. It comes with two fists, like we would come to expect, and then the C-grip hands. So like I said, articulation is what we've come to expect. I think for this figure, this kind of free-floating neck is much better than on some of the other figures, and he looks up fairly well, and looks down fairly well, and he gets pretty good range of motion. Okay. And like I said, the butterfly joint's pretty solid, it's just a little loose, and we'll loosen the wrist. So it's just kind of strange that, you know, these new figures are requiring some attention. So just be aware of that. Kind of caveat emptor, buyer beware. But if you do have to return it, I think if it's a legit manufacturing defect, I do believe that Valaverse will make you whole. So I don't really have any complaints about that. And just to kind of for giggles and grins, you know, here's one of the head sculpts on Covert Ops Condor. So if you wanted to, you could do that. That fits fairly well. And I've sometimes, I put him on Atlas too. So, but Atlas's head's sometimes a little hard to get off. So, and you can use the darker one for rollout, darker skinned one for rollout, but he comes with his own mast face anyway, mast head anyway. So, so if you have that figure, you know, that's just another display option. So works good on Atlas too, skin tone matches. So there's some good display options that come along with this particular figure. It's just be prepared to experience some QC issues. I don't know what the percentage might be, but just be prepared. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Did you get this figure and have you experienced some of these? Sorry if this is kind of, you know, making you less likely to buy it if you were on the fence. But again, it's your money. I think that chances are good you'll probably get a good one. Maybe if you wait later on down the line and let them kind of work some of these bugs out, maybe Valaverse will, you know, Bobby Vala will do a YouTube video addressing it if there's enough complaints. Maybe I'm one of the rare few that just got some bad ones. But I do know that this particular wrist system on the left arm for sure has been an issue with Senshi and for others with this particular this new style. So let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm gonna give this guy 6, a warp factor of 6. You know, obviously it's got a lot of problems. It probably should be lower, but because they made me whole, I really appreciate that. I've got some extra parts now. Yes, some of them aren't good either, but I think they'll be an easy fix. And so I've got some customization parts and some things that I can maybe swap out with other figures. So I feel like I'm kind of coming out ahead in a way. And would I have liked a perfectly solid single figure? Absolutely. But I'm glad that they were willing to work with me and make me whole in that regard. So like I said, I hope this doesn't damage their reputation too much. I really do like the line, and I'm not bad mouthing them in any way because they worked with me, but it's something that I think consumers need to know. So if you're a fan of the channel and you've seen this and you know experienced that, share it with other people. You know, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. It certainly helps the channel. Starting to see a little growth, and so I do appreciate you guys doing that. And I hope to talk to you soon. Again, I got a couple of others coming down the line. Be on the lookout for some new G.I. Joe classified videos coming down the line. I'm working on those now, and I should be shifting gears into doing some comic omnibus videos here pretty soon. So again, I appreciate you guys listening to me. Warp Factor 6, and I'll talk to you guys next time.